We're not getting John versus Tom ever. Yes, you will. It's coming. Relax.
I know everyone wants fight news. But I do know what's happening. I have had meetings with the UFC, as we know. I have been sworn to secrecy for a little bit.
Tom Aspinall sparked speculation about Jon Jones' reluctance to fight, suggesting that behind-the-scenes negotiations may be the real reason the bout is still up in the air.
So stay tuned, stay up with the channels, stay up with the UFC channels, of course, as always, as you guys always do. But there will be news coming, hopefully, very, very soon. But if you're going to ask me, I can't give the answer right now. But stay tuned, it's coming.
UFC President Dana White has once again confirmed that a massive heavyweight clash between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall is on the horizon, with expectations growing that it could take place as early as this summer. Though no official date has been announced yet, fans are beginning to feel more hopeful than ever that the long-awaited unification bout might finally become a reality. With the UFC's annual International Fight Week set for UFC 317 at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas just around the corner, speculation is high that this could be the stage where two generations of champions collide.
I interviewed Tom Aspinall in London.
Another one.
He wants to fight Jon Jones.
He wants to fight everybody, man.
He thinks he'll beat Jon Jones.
Yes, he does. I love it. I love that. And a young, aggressive, talented heavyweight that he actually wants to fight all the best. The problem in this business is you have guys that say a lot of things publicly, but behind the curtains don't mean it. You know, don't really want these fights. Tom Aspinall is not that guy. Tom Aspinall wants to fight all the best in the world, and I love that.
How good is he?
Very good. We're going to find out, though. You know, we make this Jon Jones fight, and obviously a fight like that for a young, talented heavyweight, you know, and if he can win, he can beat Jon Jones, it's life-changing.
I understand if you can't answer this question, but damn it, I'm going to ask anyway. Is there a fight that Dana White wants to see in the UFC above all else in 2025?
So I get asked this every year, and this year it would be Aspinall Jones. That's the biggest fight in heavyweight history. And at the end of the day, what my job is to give the fans what they want, and that's what the fans.
Since this is the last time we'll speak to you, probably for the remaining of the year, Jones versus Aspinall, is that sort of the big priority, and you think that's the biggest fight the promotion can put on in 2025?
100%. And I think it's probably the biggest fight in heavyweight history, and it's a massive fight in the history of the company too. It's a big fight.
Yeah, we know Tom Aspinall's down. Jones is kind of like on the fence, or at least that's what he said publicly.
Right.
Have you talked?
It's weird.
How confident?
What's weird about that? Let me tell you what's weird about that. So usually, those guys say that shit behind the scenes and not publicly. John says that shit publicly, but not behind the scenes. John is a very unique individual to deal with. From day one, I've been confident that Jon Jones would do that fight, right? I mean, even before the fight, I said if he won, there's no way John doesn't do this fight. Jon Jones isn't afraid to fight anybody, and that's a fact. And the only time that anything remotely weird has ever happened with Jon Jones was the time that his fucking camp did the weird Chael Sonnen thing. We can't fight Chael Sonnen on short notice. Other than that, and that wasn't him. It was his team, and he listened to his team for whatever reason. But that's like the goofiest fucking move in the history of the UFC. But other than that, Jon Jones behind the scene is not a guy that turns down fights.
Would you guarantee 100% we see that fight?
Yeah, I'll say 100%.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You mentioned Jon Jones. Is he going to fight this summer? Is that the plan?
Yeah, the plan is to fight Jon this summer. Obviously, when, where, and all that stuff is being determined. And yeah, my goal this year is to make that fight.
Your goal is to make which fight, though? Tom Aspinall or somebody else?
Aspinall.
Uh-huh.
The Pereira fight is this weekend. This guy wants to move up to heavyweight and fight at heavyweight, too.
If Alex wins, could he move up and fight Jones?
He wants to. He wants to. Well, I'll have to. Let's see how this fight plays out. The fight that everybody wants to see right now is Jones and Aspinall. And then there's no doubt that Pereira could fight the winner.
Listen, Jon Jones definitely wants to fight. Just when and where is what we're working on now.
Do you feel confidence? I think you said Jon
I'm
fight
very
in
confident
summer on first day.
that fight happens. Yeah.
Summer.
Yeah.
Awesome.
From Tom Aspinall's point of view, the situation has been frustrating. After winning the interim heavyweight title in dominant fashion with a first-round knockout over Sergey Pavlovich at Madison Square Garden, he has done everything in his power to set up a showdown with Jones. But over a year later, the British standout is still waiting. Even though he successfully defended the interim belt against Curtis Blades with a 60-second knockout at UFC 304 in Manchester, he remains without a shot at the undisputed title.
Is John Jones scared to fight you?
Yes. John is conning the public. The fact that he didn't want to fight Ngannou for 3 years and now he's not wanting to fight me for over a year.
Is that fight happening?
The UFC are saying that it's going to happen. I think it's down to him and Dana.
Dana loves John Jones.
He's trying to grease up his ego a little bit. I think he's one of the best fighters ever. Definitely top 3. That's debatable when you start putting in about drug tests and stuff like that, I think. Damn.
What drug are you talking about specifically?
Yeah.
Do you think John is ducking you?
Yes.
Was that
I
Tom?
do. I think I said, yeah, he is. He definitely is. I think that there's just an easier path for him. And I understand it. I do understand it completely. I understand that there's bigger fights out there for him with way less risk and way more money. I understand it. But in all honesty, do I think he's ducking me? Absolutely.
I do have to ask you about these reports of you being an are they true?
Sometimes, yeah. Yes, I think everybody is sometimes.
The craziest thing was when Tom won the last fight in Manchester, I go, Tom, what do you want to say to the champ, John Jones? And Tom goes, John, you're a really nice fella, and I would love to fight you. And then John's like, this guy's a dick.
Aspinall recently provided a glimmer of hope to fans through his YouTube channel, saying that he now knows what's next for him, though he's been asked to keep the details under wraps for now. According to him, the UFC is fully on board with making the Jones fight happen, and he has been in consistent contact with them. He reiterated that he's been calling for this matchup both publicly and privately, stating clearly that the delay isn't coming from his side. As far as Aspinall is concerned, the only thing stopping the fight from happening is Jones's hesitation to step into the octagon with him.
John Jones, you don't know where you stand. Dana said it's the biggest fight in UFC history now, so...
Yeah, I've had enough talking about it, mate. I'm honestly bored of it. We'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll just see. I'm ready to fight whenever they tell me, so just let me know. I'll be there.
Everyone thinks you're a bit of like a quintessential good guy. Could we see a heel turn at some point in the MMA world?
We might do. Who knows? Who knows?
From Jones's camp, the story seems less straightforward. After returning from a pectoral injury, the reigning heavyweight champion opted to face Stipe Miocic instead of unifying the title with Aspinall. Jones made quick work of the former champion, finishing him with a spinning back kick in the 3rd round at UFC 309. Since then, however, he's shown little urgency to face Aspinall, despite growing pressure from fans, pundits, and even UFC executives.
He's annoying to me. He's annoying to me, and that's my own personal, he annoys me. I get to you guys, you find it entertaining, but I find him annoying, and I just don't like him. And at the end of the day, if I give him the opportunity to fight me, I want to be so compensated. I want to say it, I want that, honestly, and that's just what it is. That's just what it is, or else my life is perfect without him. I don't need him at all, and he needs me. And that's a good place to be in a negotiation.
John Jones has made subtle and not so subtle comments about Aspinall, including a tweet that seemed to downplay the Brit's accomplishments. The post, which dismissed Aspinall as the guy who was known for calling out John Jones and didn't end up being great at all, was quickly deleted, but not before it stirred plenty of discussion. This pattern of passive disinterest has led many to wonder whether Jones truly wants to take on such a high-risk opponent, or if he's looking for more lucrative or legacy-safe matchups instead. Jones's manager, Malki Kawa, addressed the situation in a recent interview, suggesting that ongoing negotiations are complex and contingent on various factors. While he didn't offer a direct confirmation, his comments implied that the fight could happen if all involved parties align on the necessary terms. Kawa's remarks echoed Jones's earlier statement following his victory over Miocic, when he said it would take you money to motivate him to fight Aspinall. The message was clear. He needs to feel that the risk of facing such a dangerous contender is matched by the financial reward.
We sit in negotiations all day long and we talk about things all day long, right? And I think that everybody that's involved in anything to do with any of this stuff wants all these fights to happen, right? I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Do you think it happens?
I think that it depends on certain things and whether or not everybody want to make those certain things happen. And if the answer to everybody else is yes, those certain things happen, then yes, the fight will happen. He's the best in the world. You know, I take it personal when people don't have him one in the pound for pound rankings. And you know, I think that while he's active as a fighter, he should be number one. I think, you know, out of respect to what he's done, he has had the toughest strength of schedule that I think anybody in the history of the sport has had, especially as a champion. He's had the longevity as a champion that no one else has had. And I think whenever he's active, whether that means once a year or twice a year, he should be considered the number one fighter in the world, pound for pound.
While UFC fans are hoping to see this colossal bout headline UFC 317, other matchups like Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev or Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev are rumored to be more likely for the main event. The uncertainty around Jones and Aspinall is a source of frustration not just for fans, but also for fighters and former champions who have voiced their opinions on the matter. Vitor Belfort, who once nearly submitted Jones with an armbar back in 2012, thinks it might be time for the champion to walk away. Belfort believes Jones has nothing left to prove, and that fighting someone in their prime like Aspinall would be an unnecessary risk at this point in his career. He advised Jones to retire undefeated, maintaining his legacy as one of the greatest fighters of all time. Belfort said, "He doesn't need to prove nothing to no one. He's always someone who wants to prove, I can beat this guy. I would like to see him to walk away the way he is. I don't want to see him losing the fight. Some people want to see him losing the fight. I want to see John walk away undefeated." Kamaru Usman agrees that Aspinall could be Jones's toughest test at heavyweight. Still, he pointed out that Jones is likely weighing the financial and personal implications of taking on such a dangerous foe. At this stage in his career, Usman said Jones is no longer fighting just for competition. He's calculating whether each fight is worth the risk.
You hit the nail on the head. I do think Tom Aspinall is the most dangerous heavyweight right now. 100% the biggest threat to pry that belt away from John Jones. But John has got to get that bag. Gets that bag.
30 million Kush.
Wait, you keep saying 30. Don't be counting the man's pockets like that. Hey,
No, it's already, the word's already out there, man. People can't keep their mouth shut. 30 million. Turk Al Sheikh, they do it. I think it's more likely going to happen in Saudi Arabia. Chance to put that fight. Maybe he puts in half.
That's the one thing that Turkey loves, is to make fights happen that people want to see. And if people want to see this fight bad enough, he'll make it happen.
Meanwhile, other fighters have analyzed the potential matchup from a tactical standpoint. Israel Adesanya praised Aspinall's striking, but emphasized Jones's superior wrestling could be the deciding factor. He believes that if Jones can control the fight on the ground, he might be able to wear down the younger, more explosive fighter and dictate the pace.
But Aspinall, he and his dad, cool dudes, love you guys as well. But he's the same height as me, if not an inch taller, but thick. And I was like, you're a lot thicker than I would expect. And the speed, that's the thing that I'm like, okay, that's the danger. But again, grappling, he's a black belt. John is,
it's different.
But I don't know, man. They gotta fight, but if they don't ever fight, we'll never know.
Frank Mir, another respected voice in MMA, echoed this sentiment, stating that while Aspinall's striking is dangerous, Jones's grappling mastery could be enough to neutralize it. Mir added that Jones doesn't need this fight to define his legacy, as his past accomplishments already solidify his place in the sport's history.
I think Tom might have the best chance of anybody to beat John right now. But that being said, I still think John wins the fight just because of his wrestling. I think he puts, Tom on his back and is able to nullify his jiu-jitsu from being in top position with his elbows and control. What does John win to take that fight? He goes out there and beats Tom. Is it really going to make or break his career? I don't think anybody gives a
Sean O'Malley took a broader perspective. He sees the potential clash as a defining moment for Aspinall rather than a legacy-deciding bout for Jones. Regardless of the outcome, O'Malley feels that Jones's legacy is secure, while Aspinall has the opportunity to carve his own legendary path by taking down one of the greatest ever.
Tom Aspinall? God damn. It's like you risk going down as no matter what, you don't have to fight again. Greatest of all time, people will say that. You're the greatest of all time. Greatest of all, John Jones. or you risk it, go fight Tom Aspinall, possibly lose, and then it's like he was the greatest. Then they're saying, yeah, but he wasn't in his prime.
Even Curtis Blades, who recently fell to Aspinall in under a minute, believes the fight needs to happen if Jones wants to truly solidify his reign as a heavyweight. Blades highlighted how Aspinall's movement and striking could pose problems for Jones in ways that resemble Dominic Rey's performance in their controversial fight. Blades also noted that Jones's lack of heavyweight knockout power could make it difficult for him to keep up with Aspinall's aggressive, fast-paced style.
Because Stipe, like, when he was at his brightest, like, he was special. But that was also, like, what, 5 years ago, 6 years ago? So if the only way for John to earn my respect, and I know he doesn't care about earning my respect, but the only way for me to be like, yeah, this dude's the heavyweight GOAT is for him to beat Aspinall. You gotta fight the best to be the best.
Yeah, you just said it, you're absolutely right. There's no reason to speculate, but I mean, I think we all know that's the one that everyone wants. And you know, this idea that John is afraid of Tom, I think that's ridiculous. I mean, you know,
no.
Yeah, like, and I hope that, listen, it's going to come down to money. You and I both know that's going to come down to money, and I hope they do pay John what he wants, because listen, it's a massive fight. But you obviously have spent a couple training camps getting ready for Aspinall. Do you see Aspinall as a guy that could give John a lot of problems?
Yeah, he's very fast, he's very athletic, and hits hard enough, and he's actually like a smart heavyweight. He's not just out there just talking and moving. He's like setting things up. He understands footwork. He understands how to set up a takedown. He's not. One thing I noticed with John, this is a bonus to him. He takes advantage of like easy stuff.
Stipe Miocic, the last man Jones fought, offered some strategic advice for Aspinall. He believes the key to beating Jones lies in patience and discipline rather than aggression. Miocic warned that Jones is a master at exploiting his opponent's mistakes, and Aspinall would need to remain calm and calculated to avoid falling into traps.
Don't do what I did.
Avoid the liver shot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, what are you gonna do? But I think Tommy, that guy, he's super tough, and he hits hard. He moves well. He's a big man. I think that he stays calm on the situation, and whatever happens, he just stays calm. I think he'll be fine. He picks his shots. He's smart what he does, and I think he'll do fine.
Interestingly, not everyone is backing the Brit to win, even among his own countrymen. Paddy Pimblett, despite his friendship with Aspinall, said he couldn't bet against Jones. He pointed to Jones's fight IQ and ability to adjust his strategy based on his opponent, calling him the smartest fighter in the sport. Pimblett acknowledged Aspinall's talent, but stood firm that Jones's adaptability and experience would ultimately be the deciding factor. He said, "I've been watching John Jones since 2010. I can remember watching when he got disqualified against Matt Hamill, live. He's got proper longevity, and the one thing I do think John Jones has got the best in the world is fight IQ. He game plans to beat people, and he doesn't fight the same way every fight. As much as I love Tom and I want Tom to win, I couldn't pick against John Jones. It's just something I couldn't do." At 31, Aspinall has the numbers on his side. He has a 100% takedown defense and takedown accuracy rate, lands over 8 strikes per minute, second most in the UFC, and finishes fights faster than anyone else, with an average fight time of just 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Meanwhile, at 37, Jones is still at the top of his game, but clearly more selective with his opponents. With every passing day, the pressure grows for the UFC to make this clash happen. So what are your thoughts about this? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.